Good evening. This is the Athens City Shade Tree Commission meeting for February 13th, 2020. We have some Title 33 issues. Part of the job of the Tree Commission is to advise the city on any major projects or any projects involving trees in rights of way and on public land. And we have two of these that we've been notified about recently. The first one is the Stimpson Avenue project. I have walked that street with Anne Bonner and Jessica Aldine, who's the engineer responsible for the plans. We've identified various sites where trees can be planted. This is particularly towards the west end of Stimpson Avenue. There are very few sites towards the east end, and so that's from the post office up towards East State Street. We had an email exchange today in which Jessica was asking about planting trees in the median, and she got back with an answer about for a question I had about depth of soil, and she said there should be 30 inches there. And Anne responded, well, as long as they don't fill it with junk from the site, basically, we should be all right. Because that's always the risk when you have a site like that. But I think 30 inches is sufficient for most trees. The main root structure of many trees is within 30 inches of the surface. And so we may have to pick some particular species that we think will do better there. But it certainly sounds like a possible planting area for that street. And this, of course, is a change in the way that the city is now doing business with the Tree Commission. As I said, we're supposed to be consulted, and I appreciate the fact that Jessica reached out with this plan and with the next one to give us a chance to at least comment on these things and give some advice on the plans. If you tried to open those plans, you may have been overwhelmed with the amount of engineering detail that's in there. There's no planting detail. Yeah, there's no planting detail at all in there. But I wanted to put the link in our minutes, because presumably that link is going to be maintained over time, at least for some time, so that other people could at least go there and have a look if they're interested in the plans. The second set of plans that we received are for the Richmond Avenue Bridge project. This is a project where a tunnel is going to cross Richmond Avenue, and Richmond Avenue is going to be built up over the top of the tunnel so that students can walk from one side of the campus to the other without walking on Richmond Avenue itself. Unfortunately, a number of trees, all on the university's property, will have to be sacrificed to make this possible. And so...
what do you say number?
I think it's 19.
Ooh.
Yes,
I think it'd be that.
It's a fairly large number, but the project itself is very big. If you can imagine putting a tunnel across the existing Richmond Avenue at the level of the street, and then on either side of that tunnel, building up Richmond Avenue so that it will then go over the top of that tunnel. You can probably imagine the extent of the earth moving that's got to go on, and how far that earth moving is going to stretch on either side of Richmond Avenue.
Yeah, I have trouble grasping the whole idea of the tunnel under.
Well, it's not under.
I mean, over.
It's at the level of the street now.
But calling it a tunnel is what I mean.
Well, it's a hole that you're going to walk through. I call that a tunnel. I don't know what else you're going to call it. It's not a bridge. It's a tunnel. Yeah.
So is it going to exit on the Porter side? It's going to exit to the west of the Bobcat Drive?
Well, it's where the crosswalk is now.
Yeah, so between Porter and Grover.
Oh, it's down farther. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. There is literally a crosswalk there now, which is heavily used by the students. Right. And the university wants to put.
I just didn't know.
The same place where it is now.
Same place it is now. As far as I understand, at the same level as it is now. And that's why the street's got to be lifted up. You're talking probably about, what, 12 feet up, I should think, by the time you've...
So it's got to start way up on Richland and way
Yep.
down.
So maybe not so good for trucks anymore.
I don't think the grading to be too bad for the trucks. The hill will start further,
And it's going to tie back into grade before you reach the old bridge there at Richland Avenue.
Yes.
So, I mean, the trucks or whatever are traveling, they're going to climb the same
Yes.
amount of vertical change.
right.
So, no, I mean, it'll be an interesting project. I don't know whether there will be any planting opportunities for us. We'll have to see as the project moves
On
on.
university land.
Yeah. But Susan Calhoun is the person at the university who deals with trees, and I know is involved in this project. I'm sure she will select some good trees to replace the ones that they're taking out. So, as I say, the fact we're getting these two plans is a good sign. They may appear to be a little bit overwhelming. I'm hoping I can talk with the various people so I can alert you to anything we really need to see. At the moment, we just need to know we've been told about these, and that's good. And as long as we can keep up a conversation with Jessica, with the city engineer, we should be okay, I think.
Okay.
Are there any questions about either of these two plans at the moment?
David, I have a question. The Stimson Avenue, was there discussion about the power lines?
Jessica is still waiting for a final decision on that. I think the problem is going to be the price. I think AEP are going to demand too much from the city to pay for those lines to be buried, because I don't think there's any other incentive for AEP to do that. Although they are going to have to move those lines. They can't be left where they are. They're in the middle of sidewalks at the moment. And that isn't going to work for the future design of Stimson Avenue. So there will have to be some relocation, but I think relocation is probably a lot cheaper than burying them.
So with that one having some possibility for some planning, will we be in touch with her?
Yes, what she did was with Anne was mark on her plans where we felt there was a good chance of trees surviving. I don't know if you want to comment on this, Anne.
Yeah, it's tight. They are going to do some beds, kind of some stormwater retention areas. They're pretty narrow, but not quite as narrow as the ones on West Union, so that's good. There'll be opportunity for perennials and I think some upright shrubbery.
Oh, great.
Whenever you're looking at engineering drawings, there's a box on the upper left where you can, if you know the page you're looking for, and it's page 63 with the proposed median.
Okay.
And I could find the pages with the other stuff, but just click on that box, the number of the page you want to go to, and it makes it a little bit less daunting, because it was 243 pages long or something.
63.
Yeah, wow, it was very impressive.
Yeah.
But, the median, we didn't talk about that on our walk, so that...
Yeah, that was new. I hadn't noticed that there was a median.
It's always a good idea to scrunch the trees together. They make a better visual impact. They're going to share resources in the soil.
When you always said they like each other.
They do, yeah. So, I recommended thornless honey locust and hackberry and...
So do you give a strong talk to them about not competing before you plant them?
No, hey, they work
Share, don't
in the
compete.
woods. They did pretty good.
I don't know whether any of you have ever noticed, if lately you've been on the High Street in Columbus, but they've done a lot of digging of areas for trees and plants. It's really going to be nice. And I think we could probably use some of their ideas. Who was in charge of that? Maybe we could have them down.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Jessica is very progressive, very open-minded. She worked hard on saving 2 big trees that were on Ring Street, very close to that water reworking pipe problem that was, that happened a couple of years ago. And she worked very hard on that, and the trees survived. Thanks to her diligent design and also the follow-up and her communication with the contractors, so.
Maybe she knows somebody in Columbus. Maybe she knows the person.
She probably does. I mean, she's on it. She's an asset to the city for sure.
That's great.
Any other questions on those two items? Hopefully, we will be kept up to date on plans as they move forward. Title 37, all I've got on the agenda at the moment is a report back, the site meeting that I had with the code director and with Mr. Prokos at the hotel. He showed us the plans, and we then walked the site and confirmed that he has planted, or his landscaper has planted, the right number of trees, and they are large shade trees.
Oh, great.
And so he is in compliance with it. And the strangeness about the fence work is that it's just for appearance's sake that he has the fences where he's got them. He does own the land on the other side of the fence, so it's just what he does. So, okay. I mean, as long as the trees are there, we're fine.
Did you convince him to plant some trees at the old church across the road that he owns?
Not yet.
Work on that. Maybe he's watching. Yeah.
That's a more challenging site.
Oh, there's opportunity. There's a tree
opportunities
for
there.
every site
Yeah.
if you're creative.
And I have a feeling there's high voltage cables close by, and I think that's one of the issues that on that one. This side of the street, there were high voltage cables right at the corner where you get to meet East State Street, or where East State Street turns at that point. But on his corner, the power lines have come across at that point. So he could plant trees up street, but he couldn't do anything right on the corner. So no, it was good.
And so the number of trees that he's required, there was
He's
a place
fulfilled
where
it. Yep.
all on that
Yep.
lot. Oh, great.
Yes. Yep. And in addition, he's got a number of decorative trees as well.
Right.
that are in there.
Great.
So
Are they in or?
it's all there. Everything's there.
Oh,
Yep. Everything. Yes. He has fulfilled his obligation.
we should go visit.
Yes. It's a very impressive hotel. And he likes to show people.
He does, yeah.
That's one of the pluses of the job. You get to see all these cool places.
Yeah. I got a report, and I forget who gave me this report. It might have been Susan Calhoun, but I'm not sure, about Alanthus growing at two sites. And as best I can tell, both of these sites are on property that we don't control. Alanthus, for those who don't know, is also called the tree of heaven. It is a pest. It's something that we will try and remove wherever we can from city property. And these two sites, one on West Washington and the other one, I guess, off Stimson Avenue, behind Ambassador Laundry, they're private sites. So all we can do is encourage people to remove them on private property. We can't force them to get rid of them, but we'd certainly appreciate
What can we
it.
do to encourage?
We've got to speak to the owners, so I may try with Ambassador Laundry. I'm not sure about the one that's on West Washington. I'm told that it may be storage for the middle school, so it could be the school board that the people we've got to talk to. I don't know if you know, David. Who
I don't. I could find out pretty quickly.
Okay. Yeah. So if it's the school board, then we may just be able to send them a letter and ask them to remove it.
Do we know, is that, I know you're supposed to be very careful when you cut that down because of toxic latex or sap from that tree. Is that the tree of heaven that is, you have to be
Yeah, like on a
careful?
hot day, if you could get it, breathe it in, it can.
But people need to proceed with caution.
I mean, I've heard of, it's happened before, I think with larger trees and with the chainsaw, the sawdust and stuff blowing in your face. I think that is where the trouble is. But I think most people that do tree work probably are familiar
Right,
with
I'm
that.
just thinking landowners, if someone said, oh, that's a tree of heaven, and they just go out and say, oh, I'll just take this down, if it's not that big, and, and then suffer consequences because of
The other thing that
Reaction.
people should try and do if the tree's already gone to seed is to capture the seeds before they cut them down.
Oh, right.
Otherwise, when they fall,
That
they
horse
just
left a
go
barn
everywhere.
20 years ago.
Yeah.
Sorry, Susan.
That's a lot of seeds.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's there, the seed
Yeah.
bank, I mean, I think it's good to try to reduce the population of females for
Yeah.
sure, but I wouldn't worry about the seed.
Yeah.
It's coming in, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
Let's just fill the sites with productive, healthy native trees.
Yeah. Okay, I've got a lot of items that finished up under other. ODNR had a very good presentation that I went to on the Forest Action Plan, and I learned quite a lot there actually. In fact, I even found out where the 40% comes from. If you remember years ago, we were told by the Davy Group that a city like this should have 40% tree coverage. Well, it was meant, the source of this was mentioned in this presentation. I think
Okay.
it's actually within the plan itself. And so we should still be working towards 40% tree coverage for a community like this one. It was a very good evening. A lot of people attended from various places, and they've got ODNR, I think, have 5 or 6 of these happening across the state. It was a very good opportunity just to meet people and so on.
Sorry I wasn't there.
You can thank your organisation.
Yeah, no, I felt bad that I couldn't be there that night, but yeah.
For
It was,
putting it up. The next piece, and that link, if you want to go and see the forest plan, that link will take you there to it. And there's a short.
also a survey if you.
Yeah, oh yes, thank you for reminding me. Yes, there's a survey that they'd like people to fill out about trees.
I can resend it to you all if you want me to.
Okay.
But the survey comes off this link. And
Well, the survey's there too.
Yeah, surveys there, and also they have a long version and a short version of the plan. So if you don't want to read the entire plan, which is rather long, the executive summary or whatever they called it is.
It's the second chapter that really,
Yeah.
I think, is relevant to urban forestry. And references David Nowak's work on
Yeah.
canopy cover and all
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah.
I'll send that to you all.
Okay. Good. Thank you. The Tree City USA Awards event this year will be at Vinton Furnace State Experimental Forest in Vinton County. That's on April 14th. I'm afraid I don't think I'm going to be able to get to it, but other tree commissioners can
Yeah,
go
I'll be there.
What time is that starting, Ann?
Is it 9 to 3? I don't know. I don't have it in front of me.
I
9
don't
to
know.
3 or 10 to 3?
10 to 3, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because we should be represented there because we should be getting our 30th
Your
year.
30th Tree City USA Award.
Yes.
That is impressive.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't bring them to you, so if you don't come.
Yeah.
So,
We'll pick them up. Nancy, we'll give it to
right,
Nancy.
I think Nancy and I are planning to go, but,
Yeah,
and
I'll
are you want
meet
to go
you.
too?
I would
But
be
we-
interested
Okay, good.
also.
We need to go armed with information, because when they come to when
Yes.
they give the award, they want you to tell what's
Say something.
happened. And so Nancy and I went, so,
Okay, we'll be prepared.
We
good.
want the good, the bad, and the ugly, because it's a chance, to share what's happening here and share with the other
Ron had
towns.
always done it before, and so we picked it up. And
Yeah, we'll start this. Did you hear about the ash tree? No.
Should be a fun day.
We'll tell them we have a tunnel over.
That reminds me, I have a tree permit that I should have put into Title 33. I'll bring it up at the end. The Tree Commission Academy in Logan is on June 23rd and 24th. I don't know if you want to tell us anything about that, Anne.
Tree Commission Academy is a training, it's an educational opportunity for tree commissioners to just, hone their skills and spend time with other tree commissioners from other cities that are, facing the same challenges and opportunities. We've got a lot of people signed up already. Baltimore will be there, Circleville, Logan, and it would be great if, now Nancy, you've participated in the Tree Commission Academy in Belpre. You can give a testimonial if you like.
Yeah, it was great. It was, I learned a lot, and it was fun, and I still have contact with the people in Belgrade. Not usually any place else than these places.
Yeah.
But I do
Yeah.
talk when I go there. So it was fun.
It's a big commitment of time. There'll be 4 of those over the next 4 years, or 2 each year for 4 years. A freshman group, sophomore, junior, and senior. At the end of it, you'll come out though with a master planting design for your town, and hopefully a lot better idea of what you're doing and why you're doing it and how to justify it. I mean, Chillicothe went through it, and they started out with 0 budget. And today, I think this year, every year they've gotten more money. I think this year they got, $25,000 from their city. And it's, it really helped them kind of figure out what they were doing and how to
ask for money.
leverage. Yeah, and how to spend it well, too. So, yeah, so if you're interested, you can go on our website and register.
Anne did a good job. It was,
I don't know about that, but
you did.
we'll try to get some better speakers, too, so it won't just be me droning on.
It was a good experience.
And final one, because I can see I've duplicated the Tree City USA one down there, because it says 10 to 3 on there.
Oh,
So
10
that's-
to 3.
Yeah. Southeast Ohio Tree Care Conference will be in Athens in September.
Yeah, I don't have a date yet, I'm
Don't have a
sorry.
date, okay.
Yeah, sorry about that.
And then the final item that I forgot to include in the Title 33, we have a tree permit request for 35 Woodward. I know David Sinkoff looked at it, and I looked at it. I did establish with the person who submitted the tree permit that the 2 trees are the trees closest to the street. So there's one on the right and one on the left.
Okay.
And I think that was what we thought they were asking.
Yes, that's what I assumed.
But it wasn't very clear from the permit, and I have no objections to them taking out those 2 trees. The one is dead already, and the other
And the
one's
black-
on its way out.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's in a very narrow strip of soil of
Yeah.
black walnut.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
Between
Yeah.
2 driveways.
It's an area where there is already extensive tree coverage, not necessarily over the street. The street's a very awkward street. It's a very difficult street to drive or walk on. I think, well, I'm going to write in that we recommend to the Service Safety Director that they are removed. We give the owner permission to remove them.
Yeah.
And then it's up to the Service Safety
Both of them
Director
now?
to...
No, the other one's an ash that's dead and the limbs have already been removed.
Yeah. So, did anybody else go and have a look at them? Dawn?
We went today to look at this one side, and then we couldn't remember where the other one was.
Oh.
Right, we couldn't sort that out, but we did go to look for the extension of
Union
Harold
Street, yeah.
Avenue.
So, that's what I'm proposing to do. I'll sign up on the permit, hand it over to the Service Safety Director for him to make a final decision on. Because obviously the other concern is the owner's offering to do this. I don't know whether the city's got any concerns about the owner taking out trees.
Are they right-of-way trees?
Yes.
They are.
They are.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I mean that was the first thing that was confirmed. In fact, that right of way is wide at that point,
Yeah.
and I think the front steps of the house are in the right of way. And of course, it's an area where you get landslip anyway, so I'm not even sure that the property boundaries are actually where they were really supposed to be. If you went to the county's auditor site, the way it overlaid with the properties sort of was a little bit strange. It looked like the property boundaries were going through the houses and things. It's obviously a very difficult site. Okay, so I'll finalise the details on that one. Is there anything else people want to talk about?
Well, since Nancy and I did a site visit of the extension of Harold Avenue, do you know where they plan to take that? Because there's a city building. We actually went up on that hillside and looked over like where that street would go, and there's a building sort of straight ahead. If you go up from the curve, there's a building straight ahead, and and to the left of that, it looks like a city, owned by the city. It's by the water,
Maintenance,
Yeah.
right?
plant.
They're going to go around that. They're going to go to the north of that building.
So they're going to go around,
Which
as you're
way?
To the, I believe,
facing,
To where?
so you're coming around the curve on Harold.
yeah,
That's when it straightens out, the new piece is going to be going east and west. So it's going to be going on the north side of that building. Hard to
okay.
describe in the air.
So it'll come out by the
So-
driving
So
range.
that's why they're
Yes.
concerned about the trees, because
On that end, yeah.
because there'll have to be a number of trees taken out,
Yes.
probably.
Yeah. We
And
don't
if
have a
they're not-
final alignment yet. We're still working on that.
Okay.
But yeah, we should be
Does that
able.
eliminate the dog park being part?
No.
I don't
No,
think
it
so.
should be plenty of
Yeah.
room for the dog
Yeah.
park.
Once I
yeah.
read this, it's nowhere near it.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get the final
Dog
alignment, and then
park's very
you'll be able to get a better idea of where the road's going to
Mm-hmm.
go. They'll actually stake it out.
Yep.
So hopefully we'll get to see a copy of the plans.
Yes, you will.
Once they've finalised
Yes,
them.
yes, you will.
There's probably some place to place.
Hopefully,
Yeah, I would think.
And I would like to make mention that I think through a couple grants, they have the West Union Street. They have a lot of the funding wrapped up on that, but they don't have the funding secured yet for Harold. So that extension, they're still working on, they're looking at it and wrapping it into engineering, is my understanding. But funding wise, it's not complete yet.
Is the idea of that extension for safety reasons, so that there's an egress from that whole park area, or just to help with traffic flow, so not everybody's driving around and coming down?
It was my understanding that it was for traffic.
Right, okay.
They're trying to lessen the impact of the West Union and Schaefer Street intersection, and then also the Schaefer Street, State Street intersection. And so you would have.
There might be more traffic on Stimson with all the university stuff that they're doing, Nichols area.
Correct, yes, but also having a quicker egress from the park too, so people don't have to come up and come back out. So
Right,
it's
right,
trying to provide an additional access point to the Innovation Center and to Stumac and some of those businesses where they won't have to necessarily go through that a larger part of the neighborhood.
Right.
Yeah, it makes sense.
good. Anything else? In that case, we have the minutes of the last meeting. I have one correction that I've already made. I appreciate it when people read these and give me the corrections, because I can't proofread minutes. One word has to be changed, that's all.
I move that we accept the minutes as presented.
Thank you, John.
I'll second that.
Thank you, David. Any comments, questions about the minutes?
On 3A, what comes after the word due?
Oh,
Calendar of needs for the year, along with activities involving cities for volunteers due.
oh, thank you, yes. It was, we need to have a calendar that
Okay.
explains what the activities are that the volunteers are going to do and
Okay.
what the city's going to do, but I will try and reform that better.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, but that's all that's
Okay.
that's about. And then just below it in the next sentence, I've got to received, and it should be received for review
Okay.
by the commission.
Okay.
And on the Oblenis plan, the co-director sent me an email today, and I was going to discuss with him after the meeting when we're going to be able to have this meeting, or how it's going to take place. Anything else? If not, are there any?
So did you
Yeah.
have the meeting with the one?
No, not yet. No, I just got an email today from David about that, and I was going to talk to him after the meeting tonight to see if we can set something. Okay, are there any objections to approving the minutes? Hearing none, we have minutes. Our next meeting will be March the 12th, 2020, and with that we are adjourned. Thank you.